Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
6 Art Ross trophies, 6 Hart trophies, 4 Stanley Cups, 801 NHL goals, 1,049 NHL assists, 1,850 NHL points in 1,767 NHL games.
Andrew Peters was a great hockey player.
I was trying to be heartfelt. I'm not done.
Those are the stats they read on the Simpsons card when they showed this guy's face. Do you remember that scene?
Yes, but that's not where I got all of these. And I continue.
Those are the exact same stats.
975 pro goals, 1,383 pro assists, 2,358 pro points. His first NHL game was in 1946. His final NHL game was in 1980. He retired at the age of 52, only to make a one-game IHL appearance in 1997 at almost 70 years old. There's a special hat trick named after him. His nickname is Mr. Hockey. Rest in peace, Gordie Howe.
Rest in peace, Gordie Howe. Well said, sir. Well said.
He had a life.
He sure did.
This guy had a life.
You know, it's amazing that that he has created for himself. I mean, there's a legacy there that I think is so unique when it comes to athletes, because you talk about athletes that were great for a period of time, and a lot of athletes, when we talk about greatness, they were great for 5 to 7 years, a lot of them, right? And that's pretty damn good.
A lot of athletes have a good run.
Yeah, if you can have a good run. Gordie Howe had a good marathon. He, as you said, Steve, he played professional hockey in parts of 4 different decades.
5.
Well, I guess if you count the IHL, yeah.
Apparently, no. If you count the IHL, it was 6.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
40s, 50s.
40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s,
Math.
90s.
Math and counting. Math and counting.
Math is hard.
Math is hard. I mean, that's unbelievable. And, he was a big part of, or at least a part of, the players' movement to unionize. I know obviously Ted Lindsay was really the guy there, but, there's a... Gordie Howe really saw the game mature from this fledgling little league in the 40s to the massive success it was becoming with, names like Bourque and Gretzky and Dion and Lafleur and Richard and like all those names you think about. They all played with Gordie or around Gordie at some point, but he saw it in the 80s when it was really starting to explode. And I think that is such an incredible story to have seen him in all of those decades. It's almost like for 50 years, the NHL was synonymous with Gordie Howe.
He was Mr. Hockey. And he's part of, and we're seeing this today, obviously, with so many people remembering him. He's part of so many surreal photographs. There's a photo of him with Wayne Gretzky where he's tugging at Wayne Gretzky's ear with a hockey stick. Wayne Gretzky's 11.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And like Howe is all the way into adulthood. There's another one where Howe is on, I think it's Team Canada.
In that picture, he's so into adulthood, he's already on the double-breasted jacket.
Oh, yes.
That's how adult Gordie Howe is in that picture.
All the way. That's all the way. Double-breasted is all the way. So he's on Team Canada. He's 50. In the photo also is his son, Mark, who's 23, and Wayne Gretzky, who's 17.
Yeah.
Sportsnet and Sportsnet.ca have you covered today. There's a whole ton of Gordie Howe stuff. If you have to follow one Twitter account, though, and this is not Sportsnet related, NHL History Girl. Her name is Jen, and the work she does is absolutely fantastic, and I think this story is exactly who Gordie Howe was. It's Mark Howe talking about his father, Gordie, in, I think it was a New York Times piece from 1987. Howe, this is Mark, recalled an incident when he was a child. He was in the family room with his mother when they heard their father calling from upstairs. Then they heard him fall down the steps. He was rushed that night to the hospital. In the morning, he was prepared for surgery, but before he could be brought into the operation room, he passed 7 kidney stones. Since his father did not have to undergo surgery, did he play that night? No, said Mark. He played that afternoon.
Wow.
They don't build them like that.
No.
They don't,
no, that model's gone. You're right.
No, it's done.
Can I also just say you forgot the most important picture? The one where he's sitting on the fishing boat and he looks completely jacked.
He looks like a cartoon character.
Yeah, he's just a freak beast in that picture. There's no other way to describe him. And that was back when people didn't work out in the NHL.
I was about to say, like in shape, out of shape guy from the 50s.
Yeah.
That Family Guy joke is totally true. You see a lot of athletes from the past. They smoke, they drink. Like, look at Babe Ruth. Like, that guy was synonymous with, like, eating hot dogs, and, like, before Phil Kessel made it.
That's right.
Super popular.
He's the OG Phil Kessel.
Yeah, like, they didn't look that in shape. Like, the OG Phil Kessel.
Is that a good comparison?
No, but that's why it's from Adam.
That's why it works. From anybody else, that wouldn't have worked, but you expect it from me. I've created that brand.
It works because it doesn't work.
Right. See, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gordie Howe is Phil Kessel.
That should be my brand, actually. It should be Adam Wilde. It works because it doesn't work. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Even that is just imperfect enough.
Really work.
Right. See? Right.
Like, part of the reason the Soviets, gave Canada such a run was the Soviets were actually in shape. You know what I mean? No one in older photos like that has the muscle of Gordie Howe, and you see him, he's into his 40s in some of these photos.
You're going to try that new fat out yogging. I believe it's called yogging.
Ah, yes. Yogging. And, man,
Well,
that was Gordie Howe.
And it's so, for me, I just love the stories that everybody, in hockey has. And another great article that you might want to check out is the essay that Stephen Brunt did on Gordie Howe. It's at sportsnet.ca.
Dan Robson, too.
Damn.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah. So you could spend your weekend watching or reading those, and I'm sure we'll see tons and tons of tributes. But drop an elbow on your best friend today when they're not looking. In Gordie's name, and please try to get that on Snapchat or some sort of video so that we can see it, because we would like to see you dropping elbows.
Don't let them in on it though. Like, just kind of blindside them.
Yeah, do it. It's okay.
It's a little rude.
Yeah, I mean, but it's in tribute to Gordie, so it's totally legal. It's totally cool.
Well, and Jesse was saying, like, we didn't even mention Muhammad Ali on the last show.
No, we didn't. Jeez.
In the last week.
Yeah.
In the last week.
Titans of their games.
And I saw a few people tweet things along these lines about Gordie Howe. For both Gordie Howe and Muhammad Ali, don't take our word for it. Please don't take our word for it. Don't take mine, don't take Adam's, don't take Jesse's. Go and look these guys up. Go look up their story. Like, why was Muhammad Ali such a beloved figure, such a huge figure? Why does he have a movie? Why does he have a Will Smith movie? That is the sign you made it. Forget the Olympic gold medal. Forget the championship.
Will Smith wants to be you.
Will Smith wants to be you. Yeah, why was he such a big deal? Because he was a really good boxer? No. Go and look it up. Go look up his life. Go look up his career. And Gordie Howe, same thing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just he was good at hockey. Like, these were two fascinating people. And that's why they're so beloved and so missed. Go look it up.
So last night we could have seen a Stanley Cup awarded. Coulda. Until the first 3 minutes of the game.
But then what would we talk about?
I don't know. Well, that's why we delayed the podcast for today, and we got a couple of tweet complaints going, hey, I wanted you on my Friday drive in, and I don't have you.
Well, damn.
Sorry.
We didn't know.
Well, imagine we'd done a podcast yesterday, and then Pittsburgh had won the Cup.
Just sitting there.
What then?
During the Cup Award.
And we'd be like, sure, gee, I wonder who will win. It would have just been a bunch of I wonders. And then, no, that's not cool. So we had to talk about it. So last night, everything seemed to be going Pittsburgh's way.
It did?
Leading up to the game.
Oh, there you go.
So are you ready for this? We have Pittsburgh City Council naming a street after Matt Murray for the day. Because that was the street that they would have, brought the cup down or whatever.
Oh, my.
Then you've got Pittsburgh Police.
Counting your chickens before they hatch Boulevard?
Yeah, that's right. The downtown police went around and cleared out patio furniture that could be burned because they were afraid that if there was a win, people would try to set things on fire. So they removed everything that could be burned, including newspapers from newspaper boxes. They got rid of them all.
And in their defense, yeah.
In their defense, Vancouver.
And LA Montreal and everywhere else, probably.
Absolutely. And I don't blame them for that. I actually think that was quite responsible. But a lot of people are saying, well, they jinxed themselves. You put a big, gigantic target on your back when you name a street after a guy who hasn't won anything yet.
Not to mention all the Conn Smythe talk. There was so much Conn Smythe talk that I was a part of.
Yep. Well, that's our job, and your job more than it's my job. But on this show, we talk about that. We're supposed to talk about that.
Oh, absolutely. And, is it Sidney Crosby? Is it Matt Murray? Is it Phil Kessel? And as the game progressed, I'm like, Logan Couture or Martin Jones?
Well, it was Martin Jones last night. That was the game. It was Martin Jones.
It was definitely Martin Jones. Although,
And like 3 crossbars.
Yeah.
Kessel could have had a hat trick. They said it during the first period on the broadcast yesterday. You know what? Pittsburgh plays that game 10 times. They win at 9. They just got stoned by Martin Stones. Shout out Myrtle
Yeah, Myrtle got his headline. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
on NHL.com.
Now, so now Pittsburgh is still the team that has not won anything at home since 1960. When they won, by the way, a Game 7 World Series walk-off home run. That's a hell of a way to end it. If you're going to go on a drought.
Time, or has it ever happened? When was the last time where the Stanley Cup was won Game 7 in overtime? I don't think it's happened in our lifetime.
Last year, but it wasn't Game 7.
Oh, it's happened in OT a bunch of times, just not
That's
Game 7.
a good question. I don't know.
I can think of UA Krupp and
yeah, but that was against Florida, right?
That was against Florida, but it was Game 4.
And then
it was a sweep.
Brett Hall, which is Game 6. Yeah.
I think it was Martinez.
Last time it happened in Game 7 was the 1954 Stanley Cup Final.
That's a while.
The Detroit Red Wings versus the Montreal Canadiens.
Like, what are the sheer odds of that? Like, it's gone to Game 7 plenty of times. It's happened in overtime a bunch of times. Just not both.
It's funny, Game 7s, you'd think that a lot of people would come out firing in all cylinders. But when you look at, say, what happened to the Canucks or, a lot of times teams don't. There's one team that does extraordinarily well in the Game 7, and there are a lot of blowouts, right? There's a lot of
blowouts.
Or not blowouts, but a lot of dominated performances, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that let it get away from them early, but also a lot of times where both teams are terrified and the score is extremely low and extremely close. I think of Game 7 from the 2009 Stanley Cup Final, the last time the Penguins won it. That was 2-1. Max Talbot had both goals.
Wow.
I won $10 in a bet at the zoo.
That's how long it's been since the Penguins last won.
Oh, shut up with that. Penguins fans tweeting at me. Oh, it's been so long. Cry me a river. Cry me a frickin' river.
You've been to the Stanley Cup twice in that time. The Leafs have been to the playoffs once.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say the Penguins win, okay? They win the 2016 Stanley Cup. If they do,
Jinx.
I know. But let's say
You're a super jinx, Steve.
I'm not saying I think they're gonna. By the way, didn't I already say I think the Sharks are? Like 2 rounds ago?
Yeah.
Pretty sure I said that. Anyway, that would mean I think only 4 Stanley Cup winners since Detroit won it in 2008. Because it'd be 2 for the Penguins, 2 for the Kings, 3 for the Blackhawks, and 1 for the Bruins.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Adam was fascinated by that fact.
Yeah, I was yawning. I'm sorry.
Don't give a damn.
No, it's true. It's true. It's not a lot. It's been kind of centralized. Do you think that Pittsburgh goes into San Jose and wins it?
It's really hard to say because I keep asking myself, is Pittsburgh going to play a better Game 6 than they did in Game 5? Are they going to play a better game? And I just don't see it.
My question, though, is do they need to?
They might not because they dominated that hard.
What if they just played the same game?
If they play the same game, I think they win. The X factor, and I hate to single a guy out, was Matt Murray was terrible in the first half of the first period. Or I guess in the first period. I don't remember when the third goal was scored, but he was bad.
Third goal was later on in the game.
He was bad. There was a point in the game where I think he allowed 2 of the first 3 shots. He was bad. He got it back, made a few really nice saves. Obviously didn't have the same workload as Martin Jones.
Actually, all the goals were scored in the first period, weren't they?
Yeah,
it was towards the end of the first period. That's why I thought end of. But yeah. It was all first period. You're right.
And then I think it was Pavelski got the empty netter at the end. I hate to single a guy out. He was bad. But then I was thinking selfishly about the Conn Smythe argument I was having with people, just a few hours before. Okay. So it came down to Sidney Crosby, Matt Murray, Phil Kessel. Matt Murray had a bad first period. People were talking about yanking him from Marc-Andre Fleury, and the difference in the game was he was not as good as Martin Jones. Then I see people talking about Sidney Crosby, how he hasn't been putting up the points, even though he's been playing well, and he's got to contribute for the Penguins to win. Phil Kessel gets another assist on the Evgeny Malkin goal. I'm just saying.
I think it needs to be Phil.
Put that one in the Phil column.
Conn Smythe.
Put it in the Phil column. Dude, they got to win it first.
Yeah, if they hold on to win, maybe.
By the way, do you know how many... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we're in the Stanley Cup Final now. Either team is capable of winning 3 straight.
Yeah. Do you know how many steamed Tampa fans reached out last night? We're like, look at this! I'm pretty sure they've already had a watch party. What is this? When you see the pictures of them outside and there's just a flood of people outside the arena.
Well, and you know, it's funny. Mike Darnay, my new favorite text buddy, you know, someone buys you a ticket to the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, I guess you keep in touch.
Yeah. He sent me a picture of the crazy, I forget the name of the street, but it was just outside Consol, where they have all the Penguins fans, and I just text him back. I go, dude, imagine that, but twice as many people for a first round non-elimination game. I want the Leafs to be good so bad. Just be good. Just one before I die. Just one. Oh, I want it so bad, but it looked crazy in Pittsburgh. It's a shame they weren't able to pull it off at home.
Well, I want to ask you if we talked about maybe Pittsburgh jinxing it. Have we talked about maybe San Jose jinxing their chances?
How so?
Well, I think that there's something...
The team that was down 3-1 a few hours ago jinxed their chances.
I think there's a reason they're down 3-2, guys.
Ooh.
I think that reason is the fungus growing out of their face.
What?
Oh,
Adam.
It's the disrespect towards... They lack respect.
they didn't put respect on their name.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Because according to Canadians and New York Rangers legend Guy Lafleur...
He played for the Rangers?
He did. He said, I think it's a disgrace to hockey.
I knew the Nordiques.
In reference to the...
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, Nordiques and Rangers. Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Look that up. I'm pretty sure it was the Rangers. He came back with the Rangers and then ended with the Nordiques. Quote me on that.
Adam Wild is correct.
Okay, there you go. Wow. Gotta give it up.
I had his damn hockey card for the Nordiques.
He needed that one.
Oh, I did. It's been a while.
See that celebration?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that I think that I know. I don't trust myself anymore because of this show. You know that, right?
It's like when remember that one goal Wade Belak scored where he just basically looks dead into the camera and goes, "Finally!" That was Adam's face right now.
So basically, Guy Lafleur told the Montreal Gazette about when he talked about Joe Thornton and Brent Burns' beards. He said, "I think it's a disgrace for hockey. I hate it. It's not a good image for the NHL."
He said that?
I don't mind a guy wearing a beard, but one to his belly, enough is enough. The team's managers should put their foot down. They can't see the puck. That's why they're struggling. Thornton has been the top playmaker on the Sharks, by the way. I believe going into that game, he had 3 goals and 17 assists, and Burns had 6 goals and 16 assists. And that was in 22 playoff games. They've now played 23.
Add Brent Burns to your Conn Smythe conversation, by the way.
Yeah. So, and then came, because it's the internet, the flood of comments like, "Oh, really?" from the guy that they had to wrestle out of the dressing room because he was smoking so many cigarettes in between periods. And and then they took shots at, obviously there's some legal issues with his son that were really not good.
There's some issues with driving under circumstances that are untoward.
Yeah.
Of a driver.
So it's like maybe Guy Lafleur doesn't...
Why did someone ask him what his thoughts were on the
Well,
beards?
it's the Montreal Gazette, and he's Guy Lafleur, right? And you got to understand that Guy Lafleur, what Doug Gilmour is here...
What does Ja Rule think about this?
about the current state of hip-hop.
CNN, get Ja Rule on.
It's a little different. It's a little bit different, because Ja Rule is not a legend anywhere. Guy Lafleur is a god.
Take that back.
Yeah, how dare you?
I'm sorry. I think Ja had his time, but I think Ja's done. Guy Lafleur is like a god in Montreal for a lot of people, and that's why they're asking.
Rule to R&B rap collabos.
He made J-Lo's career. I don't even care. All the collabs that those two did, those were her biggest
Have
songs.
you not heard "I'm Real"? Adam?
I have.
Then
the
don't
way
put
you
some
talk.
respect on Ja Rule's name.
You've never bopped to an Ashanti joint?
Murder.
Anyway, so that was Ja Rule with a cough.
So why do you ask Guy Lafleur? Because Guy Lafleur is one of the most well-respected names in those parts, and that's why you ask him. Whether or not anybody here values the opinion of Guy Lafleur. The other thing is, too, if you're the Montreal Gazette, you know when you ask Guy Lafleur this, he's from a different generation where they grew their sideburns. Some of them had mustaches, but beards were considered the antithesis of cool. They were for people in the woods and people from 100 years ago. That was what it was, man. Like, it was not. That was so anti-fashion at the time.
I'm reminded of a quote from Abe Simpson. Now, Johnny Unitas, there's a haircut you can set your watch to. That was the first thing I thought of.
I am surprised that nobody photoshopped Guy Lafleur's face on the "Old Man Yells at Cloud" Simpsons headline.
Oh, they did.
Oh, they did. Okay,
I
good.
saw a couple.
Good, because it's true. Johnny Unitas. That was one of my favorite lines.
God,
that's funny.
I get that you sort of have to ask him this stuff.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't ever have to ask Guy Lafleur that.
They don't, because it's Guy Lafleur.
But if you're the Montreal Gazette, you're like, well, it's a finals that nobody here probably cares about all that much. Because there's not even really, is there a prominent French Canadian even playing?
Logan Couture sounds French. Oh, Marc-Edouard Vlasic.
Okay.
There you go. There's one.
Sidney Crosby played in the province for
he played in the queue. Yeah.
He did. For the Rimouski Oceanic.
It would be, I'm not saying that Montreal fans aren't hockey mad. They absolutely are. But
Matt Murray went to French immersion school.
Damn, how do you know that?
I don't know. I don't remember how to long divide at. How many times do we got to go through this?
However, I think it's a creative angle on getting people back interested. Well, what does Guy Lafleur say about it? It's not saying that people aren't watching. It's just there may not be the interest. And there was a specific sports writer who shall remain nameless for reasons, if we were in the podcast section, maybe we'd say it, but who said that it was the most boring playoffs, I think, or finals in history or in recent memory.
Shut up.
I actually thought last night's game was amazing. It was great, fun hockey
in that
to watch.
Writer's defense, he said that before the most exciting game of the series.
As he's been prone to do.
How
about wait till after a boring game to say that? Not right before a new one's about to begin.
What is it with Steves and Jinxes?
I know. It's a funny thing.
I don't know. But I've battled against this for a few years now. I'm so sick of people saying low-scoring hockey games are boring.
It's like saying low-scoring baseball games are boring. They're not.
No.
They're not.
A great goaltending performance, a great pitching duel are some of the best things you can watch. Who was bored during the second period last night? No goals.
It was the best, especially that Martin Jones kick save on the HBK line on Benito.
Oh
my God. That was just, and even Glenn Healy said it. I think Glenn Healy summed it up perfectly. He said it was magic. It absolutely was. It was playoff magic.
The sort of thing you expect to see in the Stanley Cup Final. And this is why I made that video where I said, you know what? I'm Leaf crazy. Leafs on the mind 365 days a year. But let's shut up about it for a couple, just a week. Just 1 week. Let's focus on the Stanley Cup Final. And we were rewarded. We were rewarded with an excellent Game 5, and now we get Game 6 too.
With that said, coming up on the Steve Dangle podcast, a rumor about the Leafs and Arizona Coyotes. No! Yeah! We'll be right back. So, we're going to play Would Ya?
Oh.
Would ya if you were Lou Lamoriello and the Leafs top brass?
The answer's already no.
Yeah, the answer's already no for me too. The rumor is, and this comes from a writer at Vice. His name is, and I'm trying to remember.
Is it Jimmy Murphy?
Jimmy Murphy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He used to write in Boston, I think.
He writes for Vice Sports, and he said that Arizona is desperate to grab the Leafs' first pick.
Desperate? A source.
A source says desperate to grab the Leafs' first pick. So much so that they will give the Leafs their number 7.
What?
And their number 20.
What?
And one of Domi or Dvorak.
What?
Because they don't want anybody with the name D on their team more than once.
No double D's on this team.
No double D's. Jones. Oh, Jesse. Doan's retiring. We're getting rid of all of them.
All the D's.
All the
So, okay. All right, so...
Are you saying they're getting rid of Bofa D's?
Oh, my God.
Oh, Steven.
Oh, Steve.
I don't get it.
Bofa D's?
Oh.
Hey man, that was pretty good. I'll give you that. I like that. Jesse's a little embarrassed to be in the room right now.
No, you're not.
So here's the thing. This is what I think. The answer is absolutely flat. Get the hell out of my office. But
if you throw in
no,
Oliver Ekman-Larsson,
not even then. Not even then.
Then you take it.
No,
Do you think NHL teams ever have these conversations about potential trades and they go, you know what? There's a chance this makes sense for the both of us, but this is getting too silly. We need to stop. Let's not do this.
Well, I think some GMs, the smart ones, would walk away. I don't think all of them do. But okay. The thing is, and of course the explosion on Twitter is, how great a deal is that? That is a steal for the Maple Leafs.
That doesn't make any hockey sense for either team.
The problem here is the Leafs have some high-end prospects. But I question, I don't know, I question whether or not we have a guaranteed A-plus NHLer.
We don't have an Austin Matthews.
Bingo.
We have a
Mitch Marner. We have a William Nylander. Before the Leafs drafted Mitch Marner, William Nylander, going into that draft, was the top-rated prospect. I believe I read that top-rated prospect internationally,
like top 10
after the Leafs had drafted him. No, top. Period.
Oh, really?
So he had he was one of the, they said, one of the better players to come out of the draft. Obviously, he was drafted pretty high anyway, but all the same, the fact that they got him was an absolute steal at number 7, I think it was. Right?
I want to say 8.
Okay.
It was 8.
Well, there you go. So here's the thing. I feel like if you've got the chance to draft a franchise center that you can build your team around and can make somewhat of an impact, doesn't have to make a full impact, but an impact enough to make your team in the first year and do a great job, I think you draft him. And it doesn't matter how many picks, how many first round picks somebody throws at you. It's about quality over quantity.
But Adam, Max Domi could step into the lineup right away and be great. And did you know that his dad played for the Leafs? I bet you didn't. Well, if you Google it and you look up his hockey DB, he did. He was a prominent Leaf for a long time. He once scored 14 goals and he got into a bunch of fights.
True. So Max Domi
played with Eric Lindros for a few weeks.
Max Domi could be a point-a-game player at the height of his career. He could be. All signs are pointing that this guy is a great power forward, going to be a huge asset to the Coyotes for years to come.
Sure.
So let me get that out of the way before people go thinking I'm taking swipes at Max Domi, which I'm not.
That's not the point.
I don't think anybody's going to argue that the projection for Austin Matthews is higher. So why would you trade down for both guys who are projections? Why would you trade for a lower projection if you're getting 3 lower projections instead of 1 high projection? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And especially, like, the Leafs did so well in the draft last year, I think, and they've done so well acquiring prospects recently that for the first time in a while, I wouldn't hate if they traded up. I'm always weary of trading up, but they got 12 picks right now. This year, they already have 8 for next, which is silly. And that's with giving up a third-round pick, too. They got a first and 3 seconds. Next draft. Not this upcoming one, the next one. I think you can afford to go for some quality. And hey, would you look at that? You got the first overall pick. Keep it. First time you have the first overall pick since 1985. The draft is sold out. It's probably going to be mostly Leaf fans. You take it.
Is it already sold out?
Yeah. Sure hope I get those credentials. Otherwise, I'm not going because I can't get into the building.
Okay.
Unless I wear a suit and try to look young.
I thought you and Jeffler had a history there, though.
At the various clubs, Adam, not arenas.
Okay.
Right, no, well, I mean, we just don't talk about that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. I wanted to throw that out there because there was a big scuttlebutt about that, and I think it's important to keep it in
who was his source?
Reality?
He just said sources within.
A good journalist never reveals their sources, Jesse.
Yeah.
Sources within.
Yeah, revealed to him. Now he is a prominent enough sports writer that take him seriously.
Yeah.
Prominent enough to at least. You're not a believer, huh? Okay, all right. Hey man,
Steve is now a race car.
And the thing is that I'm sure every team has called about the first overall pick. Wouldn't you call?
Yeah.
If you're a GM, if I am the Chicago Blackhawks, I'm calling the Toronto Maple Leafs and going, hey, so if we were to do something, what would it cost?
Lou Lamorello here. Lou, this is Stan, but no. Fair enough.
Fine.
Hang up the phone.
But you make the damn phone call. You got a lot of hours sitting around.
It's like in NHL where you try these deals and you just try and just see if they'll accept it.
Yeah.
Who used to be the... I'm trying to remember. Don Maloney, I think, in Phoenix.
Don Baloney.
Yeah, and this is when it was Phoenix, so don't tell me I owe money to the Phoenix jar. The rumor I had heard was... oh man, what was it? I think it was basically, I'll give you Kyle Turris for Luke Shen and Nazem Kadri. To which Brian Burke responded, F off, and hung up the phone. That was the conversation. Now, I don't know if that's true. Because it's Brian Burke, I'm inclined to believe it is.
But it doesn't hurt you to just ask.
It doesn't hurt you to ask.
No.
It might hurt your feelings.
You might have lost a little bit of your with the rating, your credibility with the other GMs. You know, when if you try to undercut them, then they're not gonna like you.
Brought to you by BlackBerry.
You're right.
Remember when the NHL games did that?
And you can unlock more phones for the trade deadline day.
Yes. Yeah, because you wouldn't get as many deals.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
One time you got up to 6 phones.
I got 6 phones, and I remember being like, my bill is thousands of dollars. But guess what? Stanley Cup.
Do your deals get better when you get 6 phones?
No, you just get more of them.
No, you get like more. I'll give you like for this third line guy on your AHL team a 6th round pick.
Yeah, which I always hated. I'm like, give me something blockbuster crazy. By the way, in the NHL games now, forgive me because I've only played online. Can you trade more than 3 players at a time?
I think it's 5. Yeah.
So you can pull off a blockbuster.
Oh yeah. I
drove me nuts for a while
because I used to love BGM mode, and then it got like too realistic, and I couldn't rip teams off anymore. I'm like, I hate this. This is stupid. No, but like it used to be, you could just offer whatever you wanted, and then if they didn't like it, they would just reject it. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, what do you mean I can't call the Bruins anymore?
Yeah.
What do you mean I can't get Bergeron for Luke Shen?
If you keep offering garbage, they'll be like, I'm not listening to you anymore.
I'm just not even going to pick up the phone. Yeah.
That's crap.
In the new game, you can do contracts where you like take some money back. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Whoa.
Like, really retain salary, yeah. I traded Bernier and retained like $2 million. I was like, almost swear.
Almost, but you didn't.
Almost.
Just and like he almost had a good season.
Oh. Hey, speaking of that, it's a great segue because we had a tweet, and this normally I would say for the press conference, but since we're on the rumors of Leafs and stuff, this is not a rumor. This is just a question. Jeff Hamilton tweets us and says, guys, what do you think about bringing in Jonas Enroth to back up Jonathan Bernier?
Thank you for bringing that up. I could have swore we brought that up in the podcast or in a video, but just in case we didn't, I don't know why more people aren't talking about that. Jesse, can you look up?
I got some of his numbers right here.
Do you have his salary numbers though?
Yeah. Or this salary, this particular salary.
Okay, perfect. He was on the LA Kings this past year, put up
look it up, Jesse.
Decent numbers in a very limited role. He spoke about how he wished he had played more. I guess he was under the impression he was going to play more. And he's affordable. Adam, go ahead.
27 years old, 7 years in the league, a 0.922 save percentage, and a $1.25 million contract last year.
$1.25 million for, I think, the perfect stopgap candidate. Both the Leafs and Jonas Enroth get a ton out of this. The Leafs get a at very least decent kind of tandem goalie for cheap.
You're not going to get a full season out of Bernier. Bernier is always going to get injured at some point, and he's not a 60-game goalie anyway.
Well, and you're like, are you going to get a full season out of Garrett Sparks or Antoine Bibeau, or who the heck is your second goalie? I don't think either is good enough. I don't think it's fair to either.
Or Casimir Kaskisuo.
Exactly. I don't think it's fair to any of the 3 goalies you just mentioned to throw them to the Wolves in the NHL. They need time to develop still, and they're too young. They're not there. So you get Bernier. You have him split games, maybe play a little bit more, make him sort of the starter, with Enroth behind him, with the agreement that we're going to trade Bernier, and you'll be the starter after that. Or if you have a really good season, we'll try to trade you to a contender at the deadline. So then Enroth gets that out of it. Plus, if he has a really good season with the Leafs, next summer, he probably makes more than $1.25 million or the $2 million or whatever that the Leafs offer him. It could be a very lucrative opportunity for Jonas Enroth. I don't get why more people aren't talking about it.
Well, maybe they will now.
He's a great candidate. Great candidate.
So okay, Jeff Hamilton with a great suggestion. We'll see if the Leafs are probably. I mean, the Leafs have probably considered it. They seem like a team that have covered all their bases. I was reading the comment section of a website yesterday, and a Vancouver Canuck fan was going off about how jealous they were of the Toronto Maple Leafs in their rebuild.
Which
is funny. It's funny. Like, and he said, and this is so Vancouver. I don't know why Vancouver fans are so patient. I think it's because Leaf fans are not patient anymore. We were for a long time. He's like, not ready to give up on Benning just yet. But I sure am jealous of what Shanahan and company's done. You guys should be proud of them. We are. And you should have given up on Benning. So, but anyway, funny.
Well, and in that post that you're talking about, they basically said the Leafs need to call Vancouver right away. They have so much that they could offer him. We'll get into this more probably on a later episode, but I've said for a while now, even though I like him as a guy and as a player, I think Peter Holland's probably done with the Leafs. If the Canucks need to make the playoffs, according to ownership for sale, if they need to make it so
Sorry,
bad.
say that again. They are, just so people are clear.
So supposedly the Aquilinis, who own the Vancouver Canucks, are trying to sell them, and what would make it much easier to sell them is if they made the playoffs. If you want a youngish player who can make your NHL team right away and potentially make them better right away, I could see the Leafs calling up the Vancouver Canucks and getting a pick or a prospect for Peter Holland. I think it makes some sense.
Seems to.
If you need some more help on defense, because that seems to be a priority for the Vancouver Canucks, Stuart Percy might make some sense there too.
Mm-hmm. And
there's another guy who I think is a good player and I like as a guy.
Low cost to Vancouver on both. I mean, you're not getting much for either. We're not going to be Leaf fans about this and go, yeah, first round pick for Peter Holland.
You're right. We're going to get two first round picks and Max Domi somehow,
some way. It's
that coffee's kicking in real good.
Now, another thing I wanted to bring this up too, since because we're now getting to the part of the season where we know the Cup's basically going to be. We know the Cup's going to be awarded in the next
to one of two teams,
4 or 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So the story, yes, and then the season's over. Teams are starting to really, and outlets are starting to look at the teams, and teams are starting to look at themselves, and they're all kind of going, so what is the plan? Especially playoff teams. And one really interesting story, I think, that we should pay attention to, besides, and it's similar to Milan Lucic in LA, is what the Chicago Blackhawks will do with Andrew Shaw.
Not just Andrew Shaw. That's a team in trouble. And you know what? We're not talking about it now because they're in the Stanley Cup Final. The Pittsburgh Penguins are in a world of hurt. I saw, it was one of the cap sites. It was either Cap Friendly or General Manager. I don't remember. They said that if the salary cap only goes to $73 million next year, the Penguins, as it stands, are already $1 million over.
Right now.
Yep.
And here's the interesting thing. If the players don't vote to escalate the cap could go down below 70.
Which is not going to happen.
That's the scaremongering tactic that's happening right now, just so you know.
Of course.
And again, one day we're going to talk about my proposal for the new cap system in the NHL, which is not a new proposal, but one that would eliminate all of these stupid problems that we're facing. I'm just saying.
What was it?
What is it?
I haven't said it yet. I'm just teasing forward to an episode. We're gonna wait. No, we're gonna wait.
Adam's waiting until we have like Elliot Friedman on again or something like that. He's gonna go on for 20 minutes and Friedman's just gonna simply respond, no.
Yeah, fine.
Nope.
Fine.
Why are you teasing this?
Because I think that there's other things we need to get to. It's not the right time. But we need to discuss this once a whole bunch of teams get themselves into cap trouble, and then it'll be a little bit more relevant. But in the meantime...
Adam hasn't bought enough rubber gloves to find it.
Yeah, the rumors... No, and I'm going to write it out so I can properly address this.
The cap troubles mean nothing if they win the Stanley Cup. They got
no.
So who cares?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Boston gave up too much for Thomas Kaberle. Won the Cup. Who cares?
So here's the thing. Chicago, the rumor is that they could throw in a Brian Bickle trade, which, by the way, that contract is just killing them. And we could have told them that the second they signed it. what is it, 3.4, 3.5 million, 4 point something
I think
million?
it might be as much as $4 million.
It was like a $12 million or $15 million deal.
He was
so
one of those
crazy.
guys in just a series of playoffs that just had an unbelievable playoff and earned his money, like Sean Bergenheim. Like just there's a Fernando Pisani, just guys who you didn't really know about until they had a killer playoff.
But you don't pay a guy for one good playoff. You just don't.
Well,
if you're smart. I'm sorry. You just can't. Even if they're your playoff
know.
MVP, you can't do that.
I
Now,
know.
and I think teams are learning this lesson. So they're trying to trade Brian Bickle. He's been linked to the Leafs. He's been linked to a bunch of teams that have cap room. I don't think the Leafs have the cap room that people think they do.
they're a cap hurting team too, as it stands.
As it stands.
There's a lot to happen.
But the Blackhawks may throw in Teuvo Teravainen to a
That's
Brian Bickle deal to sweeten it, because it's not just about getting a pick. You want a developed player, and Teuvo Teravainen is a great player. And they would do this not to free up space, but to take that space and spend it on Andrew Shaw.
Ooh, I don't know if I like that strategy.
And Andrew Shaw is going to be expensive. Make no mistake. I mean, Winnipeg offered him big money, and he turned it down. We're talking, I think he was...
They did?
I'm pretty sure they had big contract offer going in right into...
That must have been restricted free agency then.
Andrew Shaw?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's an unrestricted free agent, though. They were
No,
negotiating.
he's an RFA. He's
So-
only 24.
Andrew Shaw is an RFA.
Yeah, he's an RFA.
Get the hell out.
Oh, you're thinking of Andrew Ladd. Adam.
Andrew Ladd. Sorry.
Andrew Shaw is.
Yes, not Andrew Shaw.
The other Andrew in
Yes.
Chicago.
Well, Andrew Shaw is the one I wanted to talk about first. They're gonna try to re-sign him, and they're gonna throw that kind of money at him.
But there, by the way, is another guy the Blackhawks can't afford to retain.
No, that he's gone.
They might be Andrewless.
They might be Andrewless, but
Unless
but Andrew
Desjardins'
Shaw, Andrew
name is
Ladd,
Andrew.
there-
I don't know.
with this article, and this article comes from SecondCityHockey.com, which is the
SB site for the Blackhawks.
it talks about Andrew Shaw and his skills, and while they're great, they're third line skills.
Right.
So
Now-
you move the Bickle contract, and you trade a good prospect, and you replace it with another guy with Brian Bickle's skills.
The trouble with guys like that, and the trouble with teams like the Blackhawks is you gotta be a little bit lucky. The Pittsburgh, the Penguins are lucky right now. Okay, they have Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Phil Kessel, Chris Letang, Marc-Andre Fleury doesn't quite count, but the four guys before Marc-Andre Fleury are basically money in the bank. You know, even a bad season from them is going to be pretty good. The problem with the money in the bank guys is they cost money from your bank.
Right.
And then who do you spend it on? Well, who do you even have room for? You got to hope Brian Rust is good. You got to hope Connor Sheary's good. If Fleury falters, you better hope Matt Murray is good. And they just kept pulling on that lever and getting jackpot.
Right.
You know, that's how it's got to work.
So with Andrew Shaw and with Andrew Ladd, I mean, if there's money to put into either, first off, you know Andrew Ladd's going to be more expensive because Andrew Shaw is the RFA, right?
Absolutely.
Andrew Ladd is a more experienced professional. He's been there before.
Stanley Cups.
Won a cup with them. Was the captain of the Jets. Like, we all know his kind of resume. Do you stick with an Andrew Ladd because he's older and it fits with the Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews,
Marian Hossa, Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, that whole
that
core.
age? Or do you invest in a guy like Andrew Shaw, who you're probably going to have to pay Brian Bickle-ish money to? Maybe less because he's an RFA.
Oh boy, the problem with Chicago is I don't think they can afford Ladd, like, full stop.
Period.
Like, I don't think there's a situation where they could afford him. So now you got to look at, can we even afford Shaw? You're going to lose one of those guys.
So then
100%.
If you
probably lose both.
If you're going to lose one of those guys, why not? If Teuvo Teravainen is the guy that you have to give up to re-sign Andrew Shaw, if he's the guy that you can keep, because you don't think Andrew Ladd can stay at all. And
No.
you're probably right there.
He'll get over $5 million.
So why not just keep Teuvo Teravainen, trade Shaw's rights, and call it a day?
Or-
why are you giving up on a great guy like Teuvo Teravainen?
Or let someone offer sheet him. Like, just give it a sec. Let someone offer sheet him and go think. Yep,
I'll
and
take
just-
your picks.
and just take them. Or yeah, they'll get offers. You might see something at the draft. I think this is going to be an action-packed June, and what better time?
True.
What better time? Because as a Leaf fan, it's all very exciting. We're all paying attention to it anyway. There's so many teams in so much trouble. Like there's the teams at the top that are in trouble, like the Blackhawks and the Penguins, and there's a few others. The Leafs are in a fascinating position, but then you got a team like Carolina, who like it might be wise of them to take on like Pavel Datsyuk's contract.
Yeah,
because they just need the cap hit.
Yeah, just to reach the floor.
You know what I mean? There's going to be so much going on, and then the Steven Stamkos stuff takes place. There's going to be a lot of fun.
You know what I want to do?
A lot of fun.
I want to compile a list of teams going into free agency. And I'll be off that week, so maybe the week before we can do this. But I want to compile a list of teams that can right now afford Steven Stamkos. And then I want to take...
At this very moment.
Yeah, at this very moment. Who's got the cap space going into next year that can afford Steven Stamkos?
Carolina
can. I don't know who else can. And let's say it's $9 or $10 million. And then I can almost guarantee that a team not on that list will sign Steven Stamkos.
I think it'll be someone weird.
And then they'll have to move a bunch of other assets. Yeah. And that'll be fun.
It's a funny little thing. Like, it's that the salary cap really
Watch
does...
it be Pittsburgh or LA.
Oh my God. Because the salary cap doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. Steven Stamkos, but who's he going to play with? Oh, well, we just re-signed Milan Lucic to play on his wing. What?
Oh, you didn't know about that rule? Okay, you see, there's this rule that allows us to spend more because we said so.
Yeah, there you go.
So... And leave it to Dean Lombardi to make it happen.
The cap is $86 million. Listen, Dean, just because you wave your fingers and say it in a weird way,
$86 million.
$86 million. You know what? You're right.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan, we are done. However, in the download portion of this broadcast, we've got a lot to get to, including a date with the guy that liked Mike Francesa. How did that go? Remember the podcast fan that bonded with somebody at random in a bar over Mike Francesa?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to follow up?
We got to follow up on the date. Plus, remember our WHL name segment?
Yeah.
We might be meeting somebody, too. That's all on sportsnet.ca or on iTunes. Thank you so much for listening. This podcast is brought to you by Panago Pizza. So, one of the favorite segments that people always talk about on this show is the WHL name segment.
We've had some highlights.
We've had some crazy
Kale.
highlights. Yeah. If you're named after a vegetable, I think that's interesting.
All kinds of vitamins. It's a superfood, I think.
And
Jackson
spelled with like a K and a P and an X and all kinds of craziness. Yeah.
But there was one name this year that really sort of stood out.
Yeah, I kind of screamed it a bunch of times.
You did. And I mean, it's funny because when you do a segment like that, you don't ever think that the person's name that you're making fun of might actually hear it.
No, you never think that.
But yesterday, Steve dropped a video into our conversation box on Facebook, our little DM sesh. And it's this young man who...
Handsome man.
Can't be more than 15 years old.
No.
Listening to us, and I think he's eating a bowl of cereal.
I think it's salad.
Salad,
It's a very healthy salad.
Of course, because, this kid happens to be a WHL draftee, which is further than any of us could have ever dreamed of going.
No, not even close.
And joining us right now on the phone is the one and only, and this is for real, Jaken Smallwood. Welcome to the show, man!
Thank you.
So, hey, man.
How do you want to start this, Steve? Where do we want to go?
So I heard you listen to our show. I got a tweet from someone who I believe is your sister.
Yeah.
And she sent a video of you listening to the segment where I scream your name, followed by Jaken Smallwood, many times. And my wife saw this tweet and she pointed out that you are 15 and I am a huge bully. And I feel terrible, dude. I hope it's all good with you.
Yeah, it's fine. I found it pretty funny, so.
Well, that's good. When you do make the NHL, it's completely okay to ignore us all. So we will totally understand.
I think he knew that.
Okay, but for the meantime, Jaken, first off, should we talk about the fact that you are 15 years old and you're in the WHL and maybe should be in class right now? Which, come on.
Well, it's not that important. Well, it's kind of important, but well,
it's June, right?
I'm going to school.
Yeah. Well, and you were drafted to what team?
The Moose Jaw Warriors.
Okay, so did you grow up in Edmonton?
Just outside of Edmonton in Leduc.
All right.
Okay. What position do you play?
I am a centerman.
Okay. So you're gonna go to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan next year.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good. They just had a spring camp and they signed me, so that's a good thing. It's a good start.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What are your living arrangements going to be? Because this is going to be a total changeover for you. You've gone from living at home. Sometimes families move, but most of the time it's billeted, right?
Yeah, I'll most likely bill it out to a family out in Moose Jaw. So, yeah.
Are you scared about that at all?
You know what? It's definitely going to be different, but just got to adjust to it.
He's already got the hockey player down.
Yeah,
You're good.
yeah.
You're good. Hey,
No,
Jaken.
it doesn't matter. We're going to have a solid team.
Hey, Jaken, what are your parents named?
My
curious.
dad is named Ron, and my mom is Sabine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
And your sister's name? Just so I didn't talk to her.
Natasha.
Natasha.
And your brother, who I think shot the video?
Yeah, you wanted all credit for that.
Wait, what's his name? though?
Jordan.
Jordan.
So, have you ever heard the story of how your parents landed on Jaken?
Well, I think it's a biblical name. It comes from the Bible. So,
Oh, that's why we've never heard it before.
Yeah.
Sorry, not a religious bunch. But sorry, from the Bible.
yeah. I don't know. It's like a pillar or something, or I'm not sure.
Okay.
And it's good because I'm sure no one has ever given you a hard time up until you listen to this podcast about it, right?
No. I always sit, first day of school, I'm sitting at my desk, and I'm just waiting for my name to be called out. Just sitting there quietly, and then my name gets called out. Of course, I say Jakin, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really care anymore. I've heard it so much.
Well, and
I feel like a piece of garbage.
and to that point, I mean, can you tell us just what a terrible person Steve Dangle is? Like, can you speak to from personal experience your experience with Steve, being the butt end of Steve's joke and being basically bullied by a grown man? How did that feel?
Horrible.
You know what's hilarious though? Because
Not his name, Adam.
well,
That's
what's hilarious is that Jaken could walk in this studio right now and probably beat us all up.
Oh, guaranteed.
and yeah, but you're being a class act about this, buddy. And you know what?
He's being very WHL about this.
Yeah. I want to know too, going into next season, like, is there any sort of, like, you seem pretty calm and cool and collected, which is good. Which, by the way, if I was moving to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan at 15 years old, I don't know that I would be. Not that there's anything wrong with Moose Jaw, but that's a big step for somebody that didn't grow up there, right? That's a big step to move and be away from your family at 15 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything going into next season that you feel like? Can you you're talking about going to a new high school. You're talking about, and I'm not trying to freak you out here. You're talking about living with new people under new rules. Are you sure? Like, you're ready for that? Is that what you want?
Yeah. I mean, this is how I want to get to the next step. So whatever it takes, I'll do it.
You want to be in the NHL one day?
Yeah, for sure.
You think you can do it?
If I put in the work, yeah,
boy.
I think I could possibly do it.
Hell yeah.
So you're pretty sick.
What's your do you play NHL 16 online?
No, I don't.
Oh my
What?
I'm sorry.
man, I was just gonna say, like, what's your team looking like online? But I guess we can't ask. If you were to shoot out, if you're gonna do a shootout with one goalie, like you're gonna go 1-on-1 with a goalie, okay?
In real life?
In real life, not in NHL 16.
Not in the world that I exist? Yes.
What move are you gonna pull? What's the Jaken Smallwood like move that ends the game in the shootout?
Oh, it's definitely the backhand toe drag, top shelf.
Top cheese. I like it.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite team growing up?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah!
There you go.
How does that happen?
Wow.
Out in Edmonton.
How does that happen?
Well, yeah, I have a lot of family down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So my dad's a big fan, and it carried down to me.
well, tell your dad he made the right choice.
Yeah.
And congratulations, you did too. And I want to. It's funny because Edmonton and Toronto, I think, have a lot in common when it comes to hockey because neither team wins very much.
True.
And were you the only Leafs fan in a sea of Oilers fans?
Yes. I mean, the Leafs would come down. Actually, it was pretty even. I mean, the Leafs would come down, and I watched their game at Rexall Place. And there was quite a bit of Leafs fan, not gonna lie, which is surprising.
Did you happen to go to the game a couple Octobers ago when Reimer got the shutout? The Leafs won 4-0.
Yes.
Oh, you were there.
We were in the same building.
Wow.
Really?
I was in the same building as Jaken Smallwood, future Leafs draft pick.
Kismet, my friends.
Jaken, is your hockey name Smallsy?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you looking him up on Twitter right now?
No.
Funny you should ask that,
Trapped you
Jesse.
on Twitter.
He's only got 64 followers.
Oh.
I think that might increase after the show.
That's going to change. Okay,
It's
well, it's gonna,
@_Smallzy SMALLZ 8.
at
And he
That's
is
a
the
great
legend.
Mimico name, but
Jaken, do you know if you can you can buy Moose Jaw jerseys, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They have a place in their arena that you can buy everything pretty much.
Probably an online store.
What's your number?
My number
Yeah.
780.
No. Damn, you are way too nice, man. Typical Albert and just super nice. Yeah,
You were going to fit in so well in Saskatchewan, dude.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No.
your
no.
jersey number.
Yeah, buddy.
Hockey number.
Yeah.
Okay, my number is 8.
All right.
Number 8. All right.
Section 10.
I am going to be not only going to be watching for you, I'm going to buy a Jaken Smallwood jersey.
If we send it
yeah.
out to you,
fan.
Oh, he's got to make the team first, though.
Oh,
he's on
yeah.
the team. That's not
He's
even
on
a question.
they drafted him. They signed him.
If
Come on.
we send it out to you, will you sign the jersey and send it back?
Most likely, yes.
Most likely.
Well, he's 15. He's got to remember. There's other things that may be a priority at this moment.
Yeah, like school. What's your NHL draft year?
2019, I think.
Okay.
Jesus.
It's going to happen.
And if there was a team that you could go to, would it be the Toronto Maple Leafs? Would you want that
Yes.
kind of pressure?
Yes. That'd be awesome to go to Toronto Maple Leafs.
Amazing.
Huge fan base, so.
Here, just to save him, it'd be awesome to go to any of the other 29 teams, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But it would be awesomer to go to the Leafs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
So, to everyone else out there who's listening, Jaken is happy to be your silver medal. Well, I guess you would be his silver medal.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Jaken, dude, you seem like a really well-adjusted,
Yeah.
good guy.
Not jerk, not deserving of being picked on at all.
Don't become one of us, okay? Life's gonna come at you, and it's gonna come fast and hard at times. And I just want you to not warp yourselves into what the Steve Dangle podcast has become. I want you to continue being you. We are big fans of yours, and we are wishing you nothing but luck. And I honestly hope to see you in not only just an NHL game someday, full NHL seasons, and with Stanley Cup rings, dude.
Thank you very much.
And WHL rings too, damn it. Some WHL rings too, and all the other ones too.
He's gonna get it. Jaken, thank you for being such a good sport, dude.
You're a good dude.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Go enjoy
Take
class.
Here, wait. Can you
Don't
say
even talk about that.
no? Here, one.
Okay.
Can you do me a favor? Even though I was such a jerk to you,
Yeah.
can you say this is Jaken Smallwood and you're listening to the Steve Dangle podcast?
This is Jaken Smallwood, and you're listening to the Steve Dangle podcast.
You're the best,
Buddy,
You're such a legend.
at your Hall of Fame induction, we'll be there playing that recording outside, just so you know. Be like, what? We knew you once, man.
We'll be outside the building. for sure.
Jaken, it's me. It's me. I don't know. Tell security. Get them away.
Get him out. Get
No,
him out.
I know him.
Let's into my pod.
Dude, thank you so much. And yeah,
Thank you very much.
good luck avoiding class, all right?
Thank you.
All right, good luck next year.
Take
We'll talk
care.
soon.
All right, sounds good.
next.
You know, when there's a face to the name, it really.
Well, honestly, though, I mean, Steve, it's not like you said anything that again. This
No,
is,
I know.
You're fine. I mean, it's
Steve?
I got sent the video and I googled him. I'm like, that's freaking Jaken Smallwood, man.
That kid is 15. What an asshole you are.
You made fun of babies. You both made fun of babies.
Speaking of which,
I did not make fun of
we
babies.
were called out, Jesse. Do you know that? All three of us
here calmly and watched you guys make fun of babies.
Are you guys aware that we were called out by a cantankerous group?
It was a hilarious article.
I think I should read it.
I would love for you to read the pension plan puppets calling the Steve Dangle podcast out.
PPP.
The other
PPP.
PPP. I received
The less important PPP, you would say?
Oh, 100%. Like, without... Is that up for debate? I don't think so. Anyway. I received a tweet. It came across my timeline from two accounts. One was El Celdo. The other was the Pension Plan Puppets. Mm-hmm. And it was, has the Steve Dangle podcast gone too far this time?
Which is great. A great Mike.com headline, by the way. That pulls it in.
You won't believe number 7. The title of this article is, Are Babies as Useless as the Steve Dangle podcast says they are?
All right.
This is from Pension Plan Puppets member El Celdo. I drive half an hour back to work, then half an hour back. There are lots of podcasts I listen to. There's Unpopular Opinion, Jeff Merrick's Jr., and many others do. Oh, and as many others do, the Steve Dangle podcast. However, I'm not sure I can ever tune into this specific program again. You see, on the most recent episode published on June 7th, they suggested that Evgeny Malkin's baby was holding him back and, in quotes, useless.
Which, by the way... Okay, keep going.
Go to the 12-minute mark, if you dare! On May 31st, Evgeny Malkin's partner gave birth to a baby boy, and since then, they have this useless baby hanging around. Maybe it's getting in the way of Malkin's game? Wow, guys. Wow. Babies aren't useless. They're a new member of your family, a mixture of you and your partner made to create someone that could go on to do great and wonderful things, or at least give you fodder for your Facebook and Twitter accounts. As a proud owner of 2 former useless babies, I use my influence to bring more members to Leafs Nation.
Good point.
It's a picture of, I believe, him and a baby.
His baby.
The
one he owns, by the way.
His paperweight.
He's a proud
or whatever.
owner.
Babies may not be able to do anything right away, aside from make you smile, laugh, and spend way too much money on diapers. But eventually, they become your servants who will get you drinks, feed the pets, and fetch your paper and slippers. Once a member of the Maple Leafs blogging union Local 67, Steve Dangle is now a big shot Sportsnet guy and seems to be desperate to fit in with his fellow mitten stringers, taking shots at a defenseless baby. This is so low, even Steve Simmons wouldn't go there unless it was Phil Kessel's baby.
And by the way, I have to say, it was me that said they were useless. I was the one. I mean, you agreed, but
I fully agreed.
I love that you get shish kebab. And the funny thing is too, the comments in some of them are great. Matthew Higgs tweeting, "Well, to be fair, babies are basically paperweights," and it's.
Can I read all the comments, by the way?
Yeah, please.
Why does Steve Dangle hate future Leaf fans? Next one, somebody hold my diaper bag. Shit's going down, someone asks. Then someone just goes, 400 babies. Wow, what an outrage. How dare he? The nerve, the cheek. If infants could understand language, they would be offended. He should resign from yelling at a GoPro immediately. I don't have a GoPro, sir.
It's a Nikon or a Canon, isn't it? Canon?
It's a Canon Rebel T3i that I don't adjust properly.
Jesse and I both
ever.
have Nikons.
Yep. Okay, is there a group of people you guys don't hate? You hate babies.
Oh, we didn't say we hate babies. We just said they don't do much.
Like Jaken Smallwood. You hate old white men. Who don't you hate?
It's true.
You hate your girlfriends, obviously.
Oh, we don't. Well, Steve doesn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, let me correct you, Jesse.
Sorry.
And yes, I hate her too.
She can't put away the dishes properly. Girls
Never.
can't pick out handbags.
She sleeps like the chalk outline at a murder.
So,
Yep.
who in this life do you enjoy besides yourselves?
I think each other.
I'm not even sure. Like,
Wow.
I like to just kind of look in the mirror and kind
Really?
of just embrace the brilliance of it all.
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I do want to give the pension plan puppets full marks for going peak internet on that one.
I had to DM him and I went, just to make sure you're kidding, right? And he goes, oh, yeah. I listen all the time.
But that is like so
It's brilliant satire.
beautifully written because that is exactly how all Outrage pieces are written. You could tell he's read a few, and it was beautiful. So anyway, thank you for that.
Did you guys see that article we were tagged in on Instagram? That's a lovely fan mentioned.
No, what's
Can I
that?
read the headline to you guys?
Please do.
Oh, no. What do we do
Man
now?
sits at Denny's for 2 hours without ordering, then does the unthinkable. Just reading about what this man did will make you tear up.
That's not a fucking title. That's not a goddamn title.
There's so much to unpack there.
Hey, by the way, that's true, man. What the fuck, man?
Well, I thought you were going to say man sits at Denny's for 2 hours just to get through a Grand Slam. We have Denny's in Canada. We do.
Yep.
And then you cross the border. You go to Buffalo. It's just across the border. That's all. And you order what you would usually order in Canada. And oh my God! The portions are so different.
It's a heaving mound.
You have no idea. Americans are like, what? I don't get it. No, dude. You
So
don't get
much
it.
more food. Yeah.
So wait, you never actually got a payoff? Like, what did that man do?
Oh, no, we were just tagging the title.
I'm not looking at that.
I'm
Screw
not
you,
clicking
internet.
that.
You're right.
You know what?
Garbage.
That man was Bernie Sanders.
Who the fuck cares?
He sat there for 2 hours.
I don't give a
You
shit.
won't believe what he did.
You know what? I not only don't believe, I don't give a fuck.
But it'll make you cry.
I really don't care. Like, I just don't care.
don't care about crying?
That's the thing. There's so much stuff out there where you're like, does anybody care about this?
Can
There's
I
a lot
answer
of-
that? Yes.
Man, there's just so many things I like to do, like go outside. Like going outside's cool.
anything.
I dig going outside. I don't care what some random dude at a Denny's did. I don't care if he paid for the whole restaurant, which he probably did. Don't care. I don't care.
He stood up and told everyone to put their fucking wallets in the bag.
Make you tear up.
Get my wallet.
I want to update you on, because she promised she would,
Oh, yes.
the young woman who went on a date. Her name is Shelby Twain. Went on a date with a guy who she met at a bar who happened to like Mike Francesa. He was talking about Mike Francesa and she was like, Mike Francesa, I know that is love. So they bonded over Mike Francesa because she'd heard Mike on this podcast. And I'm not sure for sure if she listens to Mike's show, but she definitely knew through the podcast. And so she let us know that she was going on a random date. So I said, so how was it? Well, apparently it started off with her telling him that she was a hockey fan. So
Good start.
in typical guy style, what he proceeded to do after she told him what a huge hockey
who
fan
was
she
their
was,
fourth leading scorer in
No.
assists?
No.
Do you know their Corsi 4 numbers?
he proceeded to
Dude, what about Corsi against?
he proceeded,
Quality of competition? What's somebody think of the quality of competition?
he proceeded to explain that Peter Carmanos. No, I'm kidding. Proceeded to
So his
explain.
fucking kids are suing him. Do you believe this shit? Do you?
No, he proceeded to explain to her how the game of hockey is played.
Oh!
The rules. Now, before
what?
anybody goes and goes this mansplaining route, which I don't
He
think
mansplained hockey to her.
I have had dates do the same thing. I remember going on a date once and saying, yeah, I watched The Bachelor for the show that I'm on and blah, 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 and I kind of enjoy it and whatever. And she then explained to me how The Bachelor works. And I said, no, I get it. And what that is, and it's a disease in humanity, it's called a person that doesn't fucking listen. Okay?
A
Not
manspreader
listening
is
disease.
a dick.
Yeah, or a mansplaining. There is womansplaining. And it's really not.
You know what, though? That is mansplaining, though.
That is, yes, it's mansplaining. It's a man.
It's not, because mansplaining's not a thing.
No, it's an a-hole being an a-hole. and not listening. And so I guess it proceeded to just get worse and worse and worse. So unfortunately, for poor Shelby, who we love, who tweets us all the time, did not go well. She
didn't find love in a hopeless place.
I wonder if she went on the date with the guy that called in and said, remember that Frank Bruce Bunt in 1957?
Oh my God.
What's the point here?
I'm on a date with this guy and he starts telling me this story about a gorilla. What is wrong with you people?
So no second date? Should I give you another chance?
No. Listen, people.
If you write into a podcast about how bad your first date was, I don't think you're getting
If
number
it's
two.
writable, it's not worth second dateable. Okay. For everybody listening, if you're on a first date,
Don't be an asshole.
fucking listen. Okay? That's the lesson of this episode. Listen to people, look them in the eye, listen to what they're saying and go, how do I add to this conversation? Rather than, how am I going to show off how much knowledge I have? Because that's not what it's about.
And can I throw something out there? Don't fucking live tweet it. I hate when I see
Don't
that
live
shit.
tweet anything.
Your own date?
2016.
Oh, no, like someone will be like, I'm in a coffee shop and there's a couple here and they're clearly on their first date. And then they say like, oh, and the girl was a disaster and oh, the guy was such an idiot. I saw this great one on Tumblr where this girl was, she was live tweeting like an awkward exchange between like what was either like a new couple or like they had like just gone on their first date or something. And then she's like, I think I recognize this guy. Oh, and then like the next tweet was like, sorry about that, Chris.
You see, Steve,
that girl's a dick.
Here's how Tumblr...
That girl is a dick, Jesse.
Here's how Tumblr works, Steve.
She's a dick
basically,
explainer. No.
You post things and then you share things to your blog. That's how Tumblr works. Did I tell you how Tumblr works? I should tell you a little bit more about how Tumblr...
I need to know how... I want to know more about the rating system on radio, actually. I need you to radio-splain that.
Anyway, I feel... You know what? Hold on, I'm going to find out where Shelby's tweets are locked down, so I can actually see them. She's a Sun Devil fan. I know that.
Sun Devil.
I would love...
Who are the Sun Devils?
Jesse?
Adam just looked at me so hardcore.
Blank. No idea. And you know what? I know she's in the States, and I know it's probably in the New York State area. Arizona, not in the New York State area at all.
It's like the New York of the
Doesn't
desert.
mean she's not in New York State, though. Okay, to be fair. She met a guy who listens to Mike Francesa. What are the chances that she's in Arizona and Mike's there?
Okay, let's take it back a step. Is she even a Sun Devils fan?
But she says it in her bio.
Okay, just
You know
making
why
sure.
Adam's arms are so jacked from always digging himself into and out of
What
holes?
holes did I dig there? I thought that was fine. Anyway, I
don't
feel
know if
bad.
you made up the first.
Go ahead and Sun Devil splain, Adam.
I would love to. Can we start a Reddit thread where we talk
Sun
about
Devil splaining.
where people explain things to you that you already knew?
Go ahead and teach explain.
I remember, and this is bad, but this is Blake's ex-boyfriend. And we won't mention him by name, but he was a nice guy, really nice guy, but terrible listener. You know when someone's listening to you and when they're not. And this guy, as soon as you said hi to him, would glaze over. So
What do you do the... Does he ever do the open mouth? Try to close your mouth when someone's talking to you. Like that.
Okay.
You ever?
Well, I do. I think I do. But anyway, I remember meeting him
It's so creepy. Stop
on the
it.
side street, right outside the Rogers Center, in between the Rogers Center and the ACC. Can you guys stop doing what you're doing? In the video portion, you'll see that Steve and Jesse have their mouth open, looking at me right now. And I said, "Hey, I said, how's it going, buddy?" He's like, "I'm good. And I said, I guess you're watching the Raptors playoff game because the Raptors were playing, I think, the Brooklyn Nets at that point, a couple years ago.
Well, you see, basketball was invented by James Naismith.
So the Jays game had just ended. It was a Saturday afternoon game, so game has just ended. And I said, I was just at the game, and it was awesome. And he said, yeah. Not even did you see? Yeah. And, I don't know if you knew this or not, but in the seventh inning, I'm like, I looked at him and he went through all the highlights of the game because he was watching at a sports bar down the street. I'm like, did you not just effing hear me? I was there. I'll tell you how it was, actually. Okay?
But did you see it, Adam? Did you not see the...
And here's how The Bachelorette works. It's a very deep concept. Severe. Thank you. I didn't know.
There's this lady, and there's like a bunch of guys, like 16 of them, just trying to marry her.
If
Her name is Bill Brasky.
What is the point?
I have a theory. If people felt like they were actually listened to on the regular, social media probably wouldn't exist in the same form as it does right now.
Disagree. People are dicks, and they'll still yell on social media.
Jesse.
Okay, fair. I feel like, though, people go through their lives and they have their family and their friends basically ignore the things that they say. And because of this, people really we crave attention. We crave somebody to just hear us. And so many people don't get that.
Steve, I think people go through their lives and they crave attention because their family just isn't listening to them. So they go on social media and they start yelling because nobody's listening.
See, let me tell you how people work. You see, you're born, right? And you go through your life not talking for a little while, but then you learn how to do it.
Well,
then you
that's
do
your
it for the
paperweight
rest
stage.
of your life.
Your paperweight stage.
And then you remember the babies are useless, but then they slowly gain use throughout the years.
It's true though. Like I think that the reason that we do a lot of this stuff is not to share. It's almost to like brag and go, "Hey, notice me."
Oh, my favorite is when they're going off, and I'm like, I would love to just talk to you in real life, because your dog is or your blog is just like, you ever have like a really tiny dog just come up to you and just. And you're just like, tell me more, buddy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell me more.
I will punt you like a football if you keep this up.
I was going to say I'll pet you on the head. Okay there, freaking Charlie Brown.
Punch you like a football. I will go full Will Ferrell on your little ass.
Well, really, technically, that was Jack Black.
Sorry. Yes.
To be fair. Before you get Twittered. Okay?
Oh, yeah, before I get...
But actually...
Let me explain to you how films work. You see, that wasn't a real dog that he kicked over a bridge.
You got to explain how to watch a film. That's how you do it.
Well, what you do is you take your tuchus, which is slang term for your buttocks, and you put it in the seat. You see, the seat was invented in...
I don't agree. I stand when I watch sometimes. That means you're wrong about everything.
I actually have back problems and prefer to kneel on a pillow.
Do you not consider that I don't have back problems?
Yeah, why haven't you considered Jesse's point of view? By saying you have a back problem, you're completely ignoring the fact that Jesse doesn't.
I have lots of friends who have back problems.
You need to be inclusive. Yeah, I have lots of friends. I have friends with a lot of people who have back problems. So true. All right, you made a really good point earlier, Steven. Since we're off on this tangent,
when was that?
You know you did.
Wow.
Because you know what? Listening to Steve. Steve said, I would love to talk to these people in real life. Here's one.
Oh.
I want you to look at this picture, okay?
Okay.
And just tell me honestly what you see. It is a picture of my girlfriend and I for everybody that cannot see. Here, I'm going to bring it up. This is great. Jesse knows this.
I don't even want to go. Why are we going down this road, Adam?
Okay, so here's the picture.
So Adam's at the camera right now. You can't hear him. Yelling at the camera.
So here's the picture. What do you get from that picture? It's me and Caprice, and we're in the Don Valley here in Toronto.
I was about to say, where in Toronto did you find all that vegetation?
Don Valley.
Okay.
Going on a walk. What do you see in that picture, Steve?
I see a man and a lady smiling and enjoying life in nature. They're wearing sunglasses.
There's a plastic cup in
Neither is bald.
Adam's hand, I believe. Mm-hmm. I believe from this picture that Adam doesn't care about planet Earth because I assume that he won't recycle that cup. So this picture means Adam doesn't care about humanity.
Is Adam one of those halfway I care about the earth guys where he will throw the cup away, but not in the recycle part? He just puts it in the regular trash?
Yes, that is what happened.
What's wrong with you?
I'm a halfway kind of guy, if you know me. I only dig my holes halfway.
What does that even mean?
Listen, are we aware of my brand? Didn't I already tell you? It works because it doesn't work. That's me.
Fair.
That is me. Okay,
Fair.
now pass me the phone back. I want to read something out to you. It's a picture of Caprice and I. It's a nice picture. It's a summer day. We're in front of a bunch of vegetation. We took a selfie.
A slaffy is
everybody else like, oh, that's a nice picture. Blah 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 blah. Dowdy deserves an Norris. Blah 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 blah. And then I get this one from somebody named Andrea, who says maybe your girl needs to get her nails done instead of the nature walk. Yak.
Are her nails even visible in the picture?
I'll have you take another look, Steve. Are her nails even visible in the picture?
Literally 2 of them. Oh, wait, 3. There are 3 fingernails.
And by the way, she was wearing, for everybody that cares, nude nails. As in, she had clear polish on.
Is Andrea right? Does she need to get her nails?
Andrea's a person that I would like to...
She's absolutely disgusting, but that's besides the point, Jesse.
That might be the entire point.
I'm kidding, C. Price. Wait,
If
where's
she
Andrea's
needs to get her
comment?
nails done.
It's not on Instagram. It's on Twitter. I have it right here.
Oh, okay. See, this is why you don't put Instagram things on Twitter, Adam. Boom.
Yeah, I guess there you go.
Boom.
I wonder what a person like that is to talk to in real life. Where do you have to come from that barely visible nails in a beautiful picture, if I do say so myself, at least as far as I go, there's a lot of my chin's in that. I have a very big chin. If she had said, "Wow, can you turn down the chin, dial back the chin a little?" I'd have been like, "Okay, I'm with you, Andrea. I feel you."
Like friggin' NHL 16, create a character, dial the chin back.
Yeah, but what's it got to take for you to say or maybe your girl needs to get her nails done? Yuck.
Dude, I got when Sarah Louise posted the picture of the engagement ring I got her when we got engaged, people, because she had like one chipped nail, she's like, "You couldn't have told her to get her nails done."
Who? Someone said that?
Someone said that, and I was like, "No, I couldn't have told her that because we've been dating for 6 years and I've never once told her that. And it would have been kind of fucking weird." And I couldn't go, "Hey man, I'm going to propose to you soon." Hey man,
what?
That's how I address her.
And also, more importantly, who the fuck cares?
I got another one that was like, "Fuck you and your heteronormativity, Steve."
That was a joke, right?
I think it might have been because I was just like,
heteronormativity.
That out loud, that's
I was just posting that.
That has to be a joke.
There's this girl.
Also,
that I like.
Congratulations is the correct response.
No, and almost everyone said
Yeah, of course. I know that.
Also,
And listen,
fuck your nails.
I know that and please do not tweet this person, okay? I'm asking you seriously, please do not tweet this person.
I'll just put Andrea on blast.
The point is, and that's why I didn't reveal her Twitter name, the point is, what kind of person...
She might have been kidding.
She was not kidding, actually, because people do scan my replies, and one of our podcast listeners jumped in and said, "Or you could not be a terrible person," and she said, "Sorry, it's a personal pet peeve."
Oh.
No, she's legit.
Does anyone in Liberty Village have nail polish that she can borrow?
I wonder if you could get your balcony cleaned and your nails cleaned.
She might get her clock cleaned.
Well,
like
Balconies
Freeze.
does offer a combo package, actually, if anybody would just call Balconies, okay? I just think it's very interesting with these people. What would they be like in person? I wonder with her. It didn't make me mad.
Silent.
What would it
Bring
be?
her on the show. You just have her sit down with Jaken Smallwood. You can have a nice conversation.
Hey, here's somebody that's accomplished something. And then there's you.
Have we had anyone who's still in the middle of their hockey career on the show? Or was Jaken Smallwood the first?
I think he might be the first hockey player.
I think because we had Ben Finelli on very early in our show, but he was
I don't even know if I was there for that episode, was I?
Oh, you might not have been.
I don't think I was.
But I think he was done with playing hockey. I think Jakin Smallwood was the first active hockey player we've had on our show.
Anyway, wow.
I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
We got to wrap this up soon, so let's get to the press conference.
I don't know if you have time for press conference questions.
We do.
Let's go.
All right. Steve, which LFR was more fun to shoot? Leafs getting Babcock, 9-2 Nashville, or getting the first overall pick? This is from Nick W18 on Reddit.
Ooh, the 9-2 Nashville video. The 9-2 Nashville video really stuck out because it was one of the rare times I shot it at night. And it was nice and quick, so it didn't take all that long. But the great thing about shooting it at night is you get to see it take off, like right before you go to bed. And I was like, I can't wait to wake up and see if this has legs. Wake up the next morning and it's on the radio before I'm even conscious.
That's cool. And
I walked into Sportsnet the next day. I've told the story before, but Sid Sixero stands up and he just goes, "Steve Dangle, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Dangle." that was amazing. That was fantastic. And it was just like, okay, I think I think this did a thing, and then I was on a bunch of radio
It's like
shows.
the Independence Day ceremony when Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum land, and everybody's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what
And
he did.
the spaceship is exploding behind you, and
Steve shooting an LFR. Will Smith saving Earth. Same
I
level.
don't really see a difference, really.
Now, this is going to be interesting, the Independence Day 2, because Independence Day 1, the first half, is a fantastic movie. The second half is a corny piece of shit.
Hey, screw you, man! I love that movie.
Yeah, I also love Independence Day.
You
Seen
love
like 8
half of Independence Day.
Nope. Great movie.
Who are you?
We will not go quietly into the night. I don't know. I think
That's a great speech.
Oh, this is our Independence Day.
Yeah.
It is just the right amount of corny. I think
We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today is our Independence Day.
I'm back.
Come on.
And then he went crazy.
That brought tears to my eyes.
Me too.
Jesse.
Steve.
Okay. I think the second one.
I picked a hell of a day to quit drinking. Am I right?
There's so many good lines.
So many great lines. Oh my God.
Jeez,
David.
How did
David.
Will Smith's wife survive? There's so many things.
And I had a chance to interview, oh my God, her name escapes me right now. Will Smith's wife in it.
Is it Vanessa?
Why am I blanking on
Vanessa
this?
Hudgens or Vanessa? No, not Hudgens. Not Hudgens. Williams? No. I don't freaking remember, man.
I'm so tired. I can't remember anything.
Vivica A. Fox.
Vivica! The other V name.
Who was like my first crush ever. So I
I know.
aliens, get your head in the game.
Oh my God. People are, oh man, look, it's Will Smith's wife from Independence Day. Like, send me a picture of Alec Baldwin.
A crying Jordan face. Vivica A. Fox. I talked to Vivica A. Fox and I said, I asked her the dumbest question, but it was a question that I had waited
He
for.
started with So Vanessa.
So Vanessa. So Vivica
What
A.
was it
Fox.
like working with Zac Efron?
I think we all had a huge crush on her after that movie. She was just,
Yes.
oh my God. Oh my God. I wanted to marry Vivica A. Fox. And I said, the one thing I didn't understand about Independence Day, it's one of my favorite movies ever. I wore out the VHS tape was what happened to the golden retriever after the scene, after the first explosion. Remember, she's like in the tunnel and she like jumps out of the car and then jumps into that side thing and the big wall of flame goes whoosh by. And all of a sudden, and the dog, like, she's like, Boomer! And the dog jumps off the car and in, and it just like singes his tail, and that's it. That's like the last time you see the dog throughout the movie. What happens to Boomer the dog? And she's like, oh, Boomer. She's like, I don't know what happens to him. She's like,
Plot hole.
She's like, but we're going to say he survives. And it's like the dog from Gladiator 2. What happened to that dog? Russell Crowe's dog at the beginning of that. He's just there and then he's not there.
He's probably fine.
Who watched Gladiator 2?
No, not Gladiator 2, just Gladiator 2.
okay.
T-O-O.
Oh,
Gladiator 2! Russell Crowe returns!
the
Even though
fight continues in Elysium.
What's the Gladiator 2?
All right.
Anyways.
What a dumb show.
Did you
Ours?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Did you guys see that thing about Antarctica? They're playing a game there?
Hockey game?
Oh, what game?
Yeah, a hockey game.
No. That
I didn't know that.
sounds
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
dangerous.
Taz Toes mentioned this on the Reddit page, and he said, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's incredible. Who's playing?
I have no idea. I just saw it as a question. I thought
You
you,
know-
guys would know about this.
You know who it
'cause
should
I
be?
hadn't read anything about it.
I just saw this come up on my Facebook page, and I don't know who it's from, but it's amazing. The 1970s Chicago Blackhawks, I believe, or Boston Bruins, one of the two teams, versus the Sesame Street characters. What? Which actually happened. I guess they put the NHL team against the Sesame Street. They dressed a bunch of guys up who played hockey in the Sesame Street characters' uniforms. And if you're under the age of 4, Big Bird and Snuffleupagus and all those guys went out and played the Chicago Blackhawks, and the footage is amazing.
It'd be great if the NHL team they were playing tried really, really hard.
Yeah,
Like in
just
Stanley's
lit them
Cup
up.
from South Park.
Yeah. Stan Marsh was amazing.
And now he's about to find out Snuffleupagus has a pretty good snapshot.
Jesse,
Police officers, real life referees.
whoa. I think so.
Not quite. Because they don't assess the penalty. They just arrest you. They just put you in the box,
So
but they're not responsible for how long you're in the box. Is it a minor? Is it a major? perhaps a game misconduct. It's not up to them.
So are they the linesmen?
They
tell you when you're offside.
They're Patrick Burke.
They're Patrick Burke?
Yeah, he's the disciplinarian of the league.
But the police are not the disciplinarian.
Yeah, you just said they weren't.
Well, then I'm freaking confused then.
Yeah, I think they're the linesmen.
No,
They're the
wait,
ones
yeah,
that-
sorry, a judge is...
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, let's go with that.
Closer to linesmen. But yes, that was a really good one. Wow.
Final question. If the NHL goes into a lockout.
No!
I can't wait to talk business dealings again. I can't wait to talk.
Steve, are you more likely to go into balcony cleaning or cat sitting? Or what's your serious answer for your plan if the NHL goes to a lockout?
Professional crying. My real answer is I don't have an answer for that yet. Please don't
When is
fucking
it?
do that
When
shit.
When will it? It'll go into a lockout. When are we going into it?
Isn't it? No, there's an opt.
It's coming.
I think there's an opt for 2018.
Yeah. Because
then
it's a 10-year deal, but it's really a 7-year deal because they're opting out.
I think it's
Or
8.
eight.
It's a 10-year deal. There's an opt out at 8. I think it expires 2020. Please,
I mean,
fucking don't.
come
Just
on,
fucking don't.
guys,
Let's talk about this for a sec.
come the hell on.
I know we don't have a lot of time, but if it goes into a lockout, what do we do as a show? What do we talk about?
Oh, you think we're unfocused now? No, you know what? We continue. We're going to continue.
Yeah.
Talk lockout stuff.
We'll talk lockout stuff. We'll talk about sports stuff. We'll talk about, you know what? We'll figure it out. If it
Tons
happens,
of sports.
there's tons of
hockey.
sports. I know that, yeah, there will be hockey. There will be other sports. We'll talk about the K. We'll talk about
I
the
become
Swiss
a
League.
professional Twitcher.
Yeah, not? I mean, why not?
Just run shell. Just run shell for a living.
Yeah. We would continue.
Oh my god.
We would just talk about what's going on, and we would be frustrated, and we bang our head against the wall, and then just continue. That's it.
Who wins game 5 tonight? Or 4 tonight?
Oh, NBA.
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, that's incorrect on a bunch of levels. God, the Cavs really are just magic at home, aren't they?
Tyronn Lue. No. I'm gonna say the Warriors are gonna come back. I think the Warriors and the Penguins have a lot in common. They've got this game that when they bring it, it's fast and it's really hard to catch. And I think we saw that with San Jose last night too. And I'm bringing this all back to hockey. I think Pittsburgh's going to win the series just based on the fact that they're just a better team.
I think they've outshot in every game.
Yep, I think the Golden State Warriors are a better team, and I think they're going to win. That's my personal opinion.
I think one thing these playoffs have established is Steph Curry might have been the MVP this season, but I think LeBron James is still the best player in the NBA. I think the Cavs win it tonight, ultimately lose the series.
Okay. That's all I got. Cavs in 7.
No one can do the things he does. LeBron James. I don't think so. LeBron James.
Gentlemen,
Have you seen the video of the kid announcing him in the
No.
arena? Yeah, they invited him down. He did the intros for the games.
That's
and
so
he's standing there.
cool.
He's like, and number 23, LeBron James.
That's awesome.
I saw the DeMarcus Cousins. And I think it was actually with him.
Nice.
Yeah.
We gotta
It
go.
doesn't have the same ring.
Gents, we gotta go. Tuesday, our next game. And by the way, I really dislike the fact that the NHL has scheduled another game during Game of Thrones.
Oh, how dare they not play on a
Like
Saturday night?
Thursday,
Opportunity.
Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. We had to wait for the game till Sunday.
Fly away day.
Is it because why couldn't they do it Saturday night?
Getaway day. They gotta get the day to travel to San Jose. Gotta acclimatize to the weather and the time difference.
Oh, it's really hard to get acclimatized to San Jose's weather, considering Pittsburgh's is pretty much the same this time of year.
No.
Either way, there's a significant chance that a main character is going to get killed off.
Well, that's
See the NHL
Yeah,
because the Sharks might.
We should
see-
drive down to Pittsburgh for
see-
Sunday
you see
for
what's-
the game.
You see.
I can't
Why not?
because I have to work PT on the Monday morning.
So drive back.
You know when you go somewhere, you return.
Yes,
Yeah,
the problem
that
is
is the
the
case.
border closes between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m.
No, it doesn't.
Pretty sure it does.
Not if you're Adam Wild.
People do it all the time. Just go.
Just hop it.
There's
right.
no wall yet. Trump's not president.
True that. Hey, guys, we got to go.
You got a few months left.
Can we just wrap this up, please?
Adam, delete your account.
Make hockey great again.
Follow the guys on Twitter @Steve_Dangle, WYLDE and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.